Well, we often go to the supermarkets for purchasing many items. Sometimes we purchase meat, we purchase vegetables, or we purchase fruits. Now, the thing is that you may have noticed that if you're purchasing something, any clothes or any vegetables, for example, you're purchasing 1 kilograms of apple, and the price is $4.99. And sometimes you go and purchase a phone. For example, in the Asian countries, you buy a phone for example, 24,999 rupees. Now, what happens? Why are there triple nine? Why isn't it 25,000? Or you go to a fruit shop, you buy 1 dozen of oranges, and they tell you that it is of $1.99. Now, why are all of these figures with a decimal of double nine? Why not a wholesome prices? Now, the big deal about this is that there are taxation slabs. The government has imposed tax on different purchase of different items. So what happens is that if you are trying to buy something that is of 2 rupees, the retailer or the person who is selling the product has to give a larger tax because he has entered the domain of $2. But instead, if he is selling of $1.99, he will have to give the tax to the government of the slab that was of $1 to $2, not from $2 to $3. So therefore, big companies or any other mobile retailers or fruit shops or different supermarkets, they always place the price tag in decimal points, giving it 80, 89, 82, some cents or 99 cents. However, you don't get that 1 cent back. You have to pay $2 or 25,999 rupees to that retailer, and you don't get that 1 cent or 1 rupee back. So he is receiving the full amount from you, but not giving the full amount of tax to the government because he has escaped the taxation slab, as he has decreased that 1 cent or 1 rupee in the price of the actual product. So that's how the retailers, the companies, they reduce their taxation and get to the lower taxation slab. Today, I will also be sharing one more thing with you. We also go to the petrol pumps, taking our cars and anything that requires fuel to operate. You might have seen what happens that you tell the person operating at the petrol pump, or there are certain people to help provide you the service that put the petrol, make it full, make the tank full. So what he does that he clicks some buttons on the machine. Now that's the big problem, and this is where the game of all the petrol pumps starts. Now what happens is that whenever you tell them that please pour in the petrol of $5 or $2 or $3, or in Asian countries they say that put it off for 2,000 rupees or 1,000 rupees. So what happens that the machines have certain software codes that whenever a certain whole number amount is presented to them, first of all they pour in the pressure, then they pour in the vapor, and at the last the liquid is poured. You will feel a lot of difference in the average of the vehicle that you are driving, that whenever you have poured in the petrol of a certain whole number amount, the averages and the total distance covered by the fuel will be less. In the contrary, you'll see that if you provide them with an odd number, for example, you tell them to pour in petrol of $1.5, so you'll see that your average given to you will be much more greater, because the software will not be able to understand the game that it has been set by the owners of the petrol pump. So it will provide you much better and better petrol average, and the car is going to get the actual petrol, not the pressure or the gas or the vapors, because you know that petrol is a very, very volatile material. So what when the pressure is exerted, the mostly vapors are formed. So therefore, always try to use the odd numbers whenever you are pouring in the fuel or refueling your vehicles. One more thing, gentlemen. What happens that whenever you are pouring the petrol, you have seen that the machine, the handle of the petrol through which the petrol is poured into the vehicle, it has a handle that is pulled. It has three steps. The first step is the slowest one, and at that step, the maximum amount of petrol is or the diesel is injected into the vehicle. The second step, it is much faster, but some amount of liquid is converted into vapors. And the third ignition is the most fastest step. Now, what happens that usually the people, they strike with the third clutch, the third action. So what happens that the pressure is really fast due to that, or due to the volatility of petrol or diesel, the most liquid is converted into pressure or vapors. So therefore, this is a game through which they save their petrol in their tanks and provide you mostly with vapors. So always you should ask the person to use the first action and get the maximum amount of petrol that you have paid for. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more informative videos.